Hi, Trish here. It's been a while since I've showed up on video, and I've come today because I wanted to give a brief review around the posts I did on navigating grief. Firstly, thank you to those who journeyed with me. It actually became quite a pilgrimage, and like anything I present, I always take the learnings on for myself. In this particular instance, there was a lot of learning for me. I had actually not resolved a lot of my grief, and that's okay because that's what progress is all about, and I'm definitely still work in progress. So what was helpful for me was actually being introduced to the concept of disenfranchised grief. And if you recall, as I put in the post, that is when we experience a loss that's not acknowledged or recognised. It's generally not supported, which means it's often not resolved. Often it's referred to as a secondary loss. I love this particular explanation about it from a website, What's Your Grief? Secondary losses are usually losses related to financial stability, sense of self, sense of purpose, and support systems. Sadly, non-death losses often go unrecognised and unsupported. Friends, family, and even those experiencing the loss may be more likely to view this experience as an obstacle to overcome rather than something to grieve. And this was my story. And I had to acknowledge that I had thought, Trish, just put your boots on. You got this, girl. Show them that you can get through this. Get your stuff sorted. The reality is I wasn't actually being helpful to myself or the process I needed to attend to. And just to be very vulnerable here, I had experienced some primary losses within a few years of death of both my parents, death of my marriage, death of my career. What I hadn't anticipated was the domino effect of all the secondary losses that impacted my well-being. And I had to actually really go deep and acknowledge I was carrying deep shame, I was still in shock, and I was incredibly sad. And I'm thankful I've got the tools with the training I've done with my coaching and the wonderful mentors that I work with. So I was able to work through what was happening in my mind, how it was affecting my body and emotions, feel what was still needing to be felt, giving myself permission to grieve. So it's been quite a journey for me, and I've been talking to different ones of you. Some have commented, some have got hold of me private message, and I've just been really honoured to be entrusted with your journey. And as we all understand that often we haven't fully acknowledged the secondary losses that happen, they're the ones that often we have to let go, but we first of all have to feel them. So I want to encourage you today, if you maybe sometimes have these feelings and you're saying to yourself, oh, I should be over this now, I should be grateful for what I've got, I should stop thinking about all the things I'm missing out on. Well, that's quite relevant for 2020. I should stop comfort eating. Okay, first of all, stop shooting on yourself. Stop the shooting, because these are natural reactions to when something has happened in our life that has been taken out of our control and we don't know how to make meaning of it. I mean, we are meaning-making machines, and when life all of a sudden becomes discombobulated, oh, I love that word, when it becomes that we confusing, disorientating, we need to allow ourselves to understand what is happening for us before we can work it through. So I want to encourage you, whatever's happening for you now, obviously with all the COVID, the result of COVID, it could be that all of a sudden your job's insecure, you're fearful about that, you're unable to go and visit some of your loved ones. You're just feeling frustrated of the social restrictions. And then of course there's the anxiety around how long is this going to go on for. I actually really believe it's important to sit with what we're feeling, feel the emotion, name the emotion, and then you know what you're working with. And also just be aware that there's so many other people in your life that are also impacted by a grief. It could be a grief of a loss, of a death, of a disconnection of a family member, of a distancing of family members or friends overseas. It could just be the disappointment that you're feeling of all those dreams that you've now had to discard. Let's be supportive of each other, and most of all, give yourself permission to grieve.